Hey guys, I'm Eric. Welcome. Welcome back. It's great to see. Did you guys? Alright. It's great to see you. Today's topic is rent control. What the? Oh shit! No, please wait! Oh my god! It's just an arm, and luckily I've got a Band-Aid. Huh. There we go. Hopefully this helps. Fingers crossed. This is equivalent to rent control for real estate. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a shark bite. We're missing an arm. Get to the ER. Rent control is a hot topic, and California just voted on Prop 21, and in 2018 it was Prop 10. And thank the heavens they didn't pass. But rent control activists aren't done trying to enact stricter laws to prohibit landlords from controlling their rents as they see fit. Let me be clear. I think our objectives are pretty similar. I don't want families to be hurt or lose their homes. I want society to run on kindness and decency. I truly do value an empathetic society, and I dislike gentrification and displacement. But it's the method and the results that are so important to me. So I'm going to do a deep dive on my opinions of rent control. Hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get into it. So what is rent control? Well, it's a system of laws that aim to control what a property owner can charge for their rental units. There are many types of rent control among different cities in the US, including Santa Monica, Los Angeles, New York, Oakland, and Seattle. Some of these cities allow less than 1% increase per year, which doesn't even keep up with property expense increases in some cases. Some of these cities would like rents to be frozen in place and never increase, even when a tenant vacates. I've been in the trenches dealing with rent control for apartment buildings in LA for 9 years now. I consider myself to be a thoughtful person that doesn't just jump to conclusions when there's a position that benefits me. We all have our biases, but that doesn't mean we can't be objective. One of the secrets to my success is knowing when I've made a mistake and adjusting course. So changing direction is what I believe we need to do as a society in regards to rent control. And to be clear, this isn't a simple issue. There's a lot of nuance to this topic, and only through discussions can we come up with a clear path forward. Before we chat about the solutions, I'm going to address the problem in detail first. So what is the problem? Well, it's a massive lack of affordable housing. Rent is too high, and people can't afford decent places to live. Society's functions are no longer in a place that has all of our interests at heart, and we've reached a breaking point. I agree we need more affordable housing, but rent control is trying to force that goal without taking into account the cause and effect of the process. It's also trying to pin the blame on property owners as the ones who are the reason for high rent, and thus punishing the wrong people. It's causing rental prices to go higher because it's taking units off the market. Basically, rent control is trying to force a square peg into a round hole. I'm not a big bad landlord, and most people that own properties are not malicious people. According to the Joint Center for Housing Studies at Harvard, a vast majority of rental properties are owned by individuals. The term we use in the business is mom and pop investors who own one, maybe two properties. I know these people really well because I made 65,000 cold calls over 5 years with the objective of discussing their property goals. I learned about their situations in detail, and a vast majority worked extremely hard to have enough savings to buy one property as an investment to hopefully help them retire. Most people I talk to in favor of rent control, including my sister, yeah, you Lauren, are not experts in real estate dynamics. And even though I haven't performed any peer-reviewed studies on the topic, I have been focused trying to understand the intricacies of both sides of the coin. And like I said, our objectives are similar. I want society to succeed for all people, not just the rich. But I also want to achieve those goals properly in a way that doesn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And there are a lot of babies getting hurt in this situation. The first is the hardworking individual who saved up to buy one property. I really want you all to understand who these people are, because in many cases, they've worked many years and saved up their money. They didn't spend it on themselves, and they made a lot of sacrifices to earn the funds needed. They're buying rental property for a very specific reason, which is investing for their future. And there are over 15 million people in the United States that own one building. Most of them aren't earning very much from their property. From the building owners that I talk to in LA, a majority are making less than $20,000 a year. And that's the supposedly rich city of Los Angeles. Let me give you a common example. A man saves up $250,000. They purchase a 3-unit apartment building for $1 million in mid-city Los Angeles. They collect $2,000 from each one of those 3 tenants for a total of $6,000 per month of rent. So that's $72,000 total for the year. But they have expenses of property tax, insurance, maintenance, management, utilities of about $25,000. So now they're at $47,000 gross. But they also have a mortgage payment of $40,000 per year. So now they have $7,000 left over of cash flow to put in their pocket after buying a $1 million building. This is surprising for people to hear. Not some big, bad, super rich landlord. I know that most people in favor of rent control think owners are just squeezing the tenant dry because they're greedy. And there are a few landlords who give us a bad name. Some really nasty ones, in fact. I've heard horror stories of what some landlords have done to their tenants, like turning off the hot water, not dealing with massive termite infestations. These people deserve to be prosecuted by the full extent of the law. However, there are terrible people in every profession and area of life. I've met some truly miserable doctors, but during my shark attack incident, you better believe I still went to the hospital to be treated, even if it's a risk I end up with a horrible doctor. So let's not punish all landlords unnecessarily. Lauren, I'm telling you, rent control is not the best solution. Trust me. This again. Lauren, do you have anything to do with this shark? Is this because of rent control? Oh, shit! No, leave, no, leave! The second group getting hurt by rent control is renters. When landlords have tenants in place that have no incentive to ever leave because they're paying $300 a month for a unit that should be renting at $3,000, guess what? That owner has no incentive to spend money to keep their property looking nice. Most of them can't even afford to. These are supposed to be investment properties. If they're not receiving a return on investment for spending money, they just won't. That means our neighborhoods are not as nice as they could be. Every city council meeting in LA and Santa Monica that I've ever been to, people are doing everything in their power to stop improvements in the neighborhood. The argument I hear is that we'll increase traffic and then drive up the prices. I don't believe that the strategy to keep things in bad shape to avoid these problems is the solution. It's a very temporary fix. I don't like high rent or gentrification, and I hate that people lump me into this category because it makes me feel bad when I haven't done anything wrong. Do you know why rents are so high? Well, it's because of horrible economics. The supply and demand is out of whack. If there are way more people than there are units, then the demand is high and rents will go up. That's economics 101. A landlord will charge in rent what the market will bear. If tenants had more choices of places to live, they wouldn't be at the mercy of having to pay so much. This is the main reasons for the homelessness issue, which was voted as the biggest problem in LA. It feels like we've kind of forgotten about our people, and it makes me so unbelievably sad and upset. I really feel bad for our homeless. People think it's the landlord's fault, when really it's the whole system that's busted. I have a lot of experience trying to add units to the marketplace. My investment strategy is finding units that have inefficient floor plans and changing them to have more bedrooms. This helps increase the supply. The problem is that the city planning department makes it near impossible to accomplish renovations. I would have to talk to you for about an hour straight if I were to give you all the examples of what they do to deter improvements. But I'll give you this. I've been waiting over a year to start the process of renovating and adding a story to a small vacant 2-bedroom unit. I spent extra fees on the expedited process. Honestly, this does almost no justice to what we've actually gone through this last year. They've made us jump through some crazy, mind-numbing hurdles that have been not only aggravating, but crazy costly. Because we still have a mortgage to pay, you guys. I've considered going to the LA Times or a city council meeting to share my thoughts, but I just don't think it'll really do anything. And so unfortunately, I'm no longer investing in apartment buildings in LA because of this issue. They've effectively kicked me and others out from just trying to improve this city. There are too many departments in the city that don't coordinate well with each other. There's just no accountability. The bureaucracy is inefficient and there's no checks and balances. I truly hope that one day I can see the inner workings to find that true wrench in the gears. People are losing millions of dollars just waiting for basic approvals. The collateral damage is incalculable at this point. I would argue that rent control actually drives up the rental prices. It stops the flow of supply to the market, and thus it increases demand, increasing rent. People never leave their units because they fear higher rent in other places. In Manhattan, some apartment units are frozen at 80s and 90s rents in big buildings. Thus, when someone new comes in, they have to pay double to cover the costs of the frozen units. It's a complete mess. The bigger problem and solution is more systemic. It's a problem of income inequality. Don't get me wrong, I love capitalism. It has some incredible qualities to it, like the ability to incentivize innovation and accelerate growth. But like anything, it can be corrupted. And it has, because there's no longer an even playing field to start. Corporations influencing our rules and laws have broken our poor system. The American dream is getting smaller and smaller for most, even though all of us think it's accessible. The biggest solution is campaign finance reforms and getting big money out of politics. The power to influence by a few has hurt the many. If wealth was distributed more equally, people wouldn't have huge problems paying rent. Currently in Los Angeles, people pay on average 45% of their salary on rent. I'm not saying that we necessarily have to just give people money. The system should simply be fair. Easier said than done, clearly. But to start, our education system should be massively improved. Or how about taking care of all of our people with healthcare? It all comes back to funding. Not enough funding is what we hear, right? Well, maybe we shouldn't be spending all of our money on wars or loopholes for the wealthy that are crippling our middle and lower classes. Don't get me wrong, I love being wealthy. I don't want that to stop. I just know when the game is completely rigged and we're far beyond an ideal form of capitalism. This is the real medicine we need for our massive shark bite. We need to get these motherfucking sharks off our motherfucking land. Wait, that's sharks on a plane. Alright, snakes on a plane. We're gonna need a bigger rent boat. The future stricter rent control laws are not the solution. Oh hell no, shark, you want some of this? You want some? Take that! Come here! Come here! Yeah, oh yeah. It's the thoughtful discussion that matters. We're all mainly on the same side, but we get lost in tribalism and end up fighting with each other, when we should be fighting that shark. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.